Okay, so if you chose D, raise your hand. And look around just for fun. This can be interactive. Okay, so we've got 20% in the room. D is for directors. This is your personality type. So you're very free and adventurous, you're creative, you're passionate, and you're purpose-driven. Would you agree with that? Is that a yes? Right, thank you. If you chose R, R is for relators. They are driven by community. Raise your hand, everyone look around, see how many relators I have? A little bit, about the same actually. So you're relationship focused, you're loyal, service-minded, you're compassionate and giving. Is that accurate for you guys? All right, thank you. Where's my eyes? There's always a short, small group of them. Yep, actually there's more in this. I've been in rooms of 400 people and there's like 3 intellectuals. So the fact that we have like 6 here, that's impressive. So intellectuals, they're very intellectually curious, knowledge-driven, and are task-oriented. Would you agree with that, intellectuals? Is that right? Thank you. And I appreciate that participation. It makes it more fun for everybody else. Where's our Vs? Raise your hands. Man, we have a real even crowd. A little bit less here. So validators are trustworthy and respectful, self-accepting and confident, and are a team motivator. Mitch, is that right? That's right. E is for our executives. Where's our executives? Yeah. All the winners right here. Like, I'm right here, man. Look at me. So, driven, wants to win, productive, and efficient. Is that right, your executives? Yes. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go a little bit deeper. I'm going to read a paragraph on each of your drives. When I get to your drive, the very first one you chose, I want you to close your eyes. I want you to think about your relationships, your career, how you show up in your personal life, your thoughts, the way you think, the way you act. So for directors, go ahead and close your eyes. They enjoy a good challenge and love to feel free and independent. They thrive on being creative, discovering new things, and experiencing life. They are great in social settings, putting together a variety of people and making something happen. They find joy in overcoming obstacles and make a difference in the world. Go ahead and open your eyes. So for you directors, does that resonate with you? Spot on. Thank you, Maylee. My relators, go ahead and close your eyes. They know how to build strong, long-term, healthy relationships. In the workplace, their strength is in networking and building other people up to a higher level of productivity. They garner energy and security through their relationships. They are loyal to their friends and are service-minded. So if you're a relator, go ahead and open your eyes. Does that resonate with you? Beautiful. Thank you. Intellectuals, go ahead and close your eyes. They are stimulated intellectually, either through books, speeches, research, conversation, or organization. Success comes when they accomplish a task. They'd rather be learning something new than just lying around. They are driven to understand and be more knowledgeable. They like to share what they know with others. Go ahead and open your eyes. Is that accurate for you? Thank you. Appreciate that. Validators, go ahead and close your eyes. They enjoy intimate, small groups of people where they're being validated. Often they are wonderful at giving validation to others. Their confidence stems from the strength of their relationships. If they feel like they are in a healthy, caring, trusted relationship, they feel strong, secure, and loved. Is that accurate? Did you just snicker? You did, didn't you? So Mitch and Maylee are at the front row. They're married, for those of you who are playing at home. Mitch is a validator, and she snickered because she knew it was accurate. That's how powerful drive is. When you understand drive, you know your spouse, your partner, your coworkers, your clients in ways you can't even imagine. Thank you for letting me play with you. So executives, go ahead and close your eyes. They are productive and thrive on getting the job done, task-oriented and focused on getting results. They do not like small talk and would prefer tackling a project rather than sitting around wasting time. They are happiest when they are pursuing or achieving a desired goal. Go ahead and open your eyes. Is that accurate for you executives in the room? Yes. Thank you, Pete. Appreciate that. Okay, so let's see what celebrities, what billionaires, what successful people have your same drive. So if you're a director, it's Elon, Beyonce, Richard Branson, and J.K. Rowling. If you're a relator, it's Oprah Winfrey, the Dalai Lama, Taylor Swift, and Martin Luther King Jr. If you're an intellectual, Albert Einstein, Michelle Obama, Warren Buffett, and Jeff Bezos. If you're a validator, Mark Cuban, Brene Brown, Howard Schultz, and Emma Watson. If you don't know who Howard is, he's the guy who made Starbucks what it is today. Executives, Kobe Bryant, Sheryl Sandberg, Steve Jobs, and Serena Williams. If you don't know who Sheryl is, she is the most powerful woman in Silicon Valley. She ran Facebook's COO for about 15 years. So this is the key. Your drive is neutral by nature. Nobody has a good or bad drive. Oprah has a drive, you have a drive, it doesn't matter who it is, every single person has a drive. How we seek to validate it, how we seek to fuel it, that's where we run into problems. When we are externally motivated, back to talking about those companies, those individuals, we're looking to other people, places, or things for our value. This is where our fear, our anxiety, our ego, depression comes into play. But fortunately, there's an option. When you're internally motivated, when you're looking to not looking to other people, places, or things, but you're looking within, you feel incredible. You have hope, confidence, strength. You feel liberated. One of my very first clients, Tammy Walsh, said, as soon as you go within, you will never go without. And that was 20 plus years ago, and I have seen that to be fulfilled every single day with clients around the world. As soon as you learn to validate who you are, your power, your confidence, your strength goes through the roof. All those heartaches and pains that you feel on a daily basis wither away and just disappear, because you can't go up an escalator and down an escalator at the same time. I mean, you can't be external and internal at the same time. It's physically impossible. How many of you guys love like small children, like young children? They're so like kind and they're curious and they're just a blast. So this is Jackson Reddy, and they want to play a trick on their teacher. They thought, we want to get matching haircuts so she can't tell us apart. So they convinced their parents, and they literally went and got matching haircuts, and their innocence, they truly, absolutely believed their teacher could not tell them apart. Teacher played along. This ended up on CNN. It's the cutest video you've ever seen. And I look at that, I think, why is it that we grow out of that? Think about that. Every young child's that way. You ever been at Walmart and you see, like in the toy aisle, I hang out there a lot, and it's a problem. I actually, honestly, I have to be totally transparent, I went to the Lego store before I came here today. So I had to get them all fixed before I got on stage, reward myself for afterwards. So if you go to the toy aisle and you see like a little 3-year-old girl, she'll take on a 6'5" dad, yelling, screaming, kicking. She won't back down because she knows what she wants. You have to be taught how to be external. You are born internal. So the externalness that you feel in your life, it's not your fault. It's your parents' fault, because they raised you based off of their drive, and you're screwing up your kids right now because you're raising your kids based on your drive. Different seminar for a different day. But when it comes down to being external, you have to be taught to be external. So think about kindergarten. You go to kindergarten, what do? They line you up, shortest to tallest, by hair color, eye color, skin color, alphabetical. It's always a judgment, a comparison of where you fit in. Then you go out on the playground, and it's the first time you realize you're not as fast as the other kids. You're not as coordinated as the other kids. And then at lunchtime, and then you had to sit down, shut up, raise your hand to go to the bathroom. Then let's go to middle school. Now you're in middle school. You're no longer in a classroom full of 30 kids. You have 30 kids 8 different times in a day or 2 days. So now compare yourself to hundreds of kids. And then Mother Nature does this funny thing to you. Your hormones kick in and your teeth grow sideways and your acne comes out, and now you're really comparing yourself to everyone else. Then you get thrown in high school. Now in high school, your hormones really kick in and you can't sit still, but yet you're supposed to, and now you're being judged, everybody in what clique they're in, what club they're in. Then you're 16 years old and you get your driver's license, but your parents say, well, you have to have the car home at a certain time, even though I want you to be an adult and get a job, but I pay the insurance and I pay the cell phone bill, so you'll do what I say. And then if you're fortunate enough to graduate and go off to college, now we put you on a bell curve so you know exactly how stupid you are, compare you for the next 4 years, your profession, your career, and then we put you in debt to $130,000, and then we kick you out and say, okay, now be an adult. Are you freaking kidding me? Seriously, this whole system sucks. Like, that thing was not designed right at all. I mean, we won't even get into who designed it, but it's not right. And here's why. You've never been taught how to be internal. And you wonder why you're unhappy or struggling or not getting along with coworkers or why you can't reach your goals or your dreams or your passions. It is not your fault. Fortunately, there is a solution on how you get internal. How do you tap into your core, your true identity? Like, if you really had the courage and the strength to be who you were out loud, how would you do it? I love the quote by Oscar Wilde. He said, be yourself because everyone else is already taken. That to me screams, be internally you, unabashedly, unapologetically, and the world will notice. Here's how you do it. You have what's called a primary and secondary drive. So your first letter you wrote down, that is your primary drive, director, relator, intellectual, validator, executive. Your secondary drive is the fuel, meaning the why versus the how. And I'll give you a couple examples. So let's take Taylor. Woman's a rock star. She's killing it right now. She is a relator. Her why, her primary drive is relator. She's all about community, her fans, Swift Miss, shows up at people's weddings, bar mitzvahs, birthdays. The woman's incredible. She does hospital visits nonstop. So she's motivated by relationships as a relator. But how does she become so successful? How does she pull it off? It is her secondary drive, executive. So executive is motivated by proof. So when Apple came out with their streaming platform, they said, you know what, we're not going to pay any of the artists for 3 months. She immediately, because all of her friends are artists, immediately wrote a letter and said, hold on a second. I'm not saying this for me. I have enough. I'm fine. I'm saying this for the artist who has given their last credit card to pay the producer to produce their last album, and you aren't going to pay them for 3 months? We don't ask you for free iPhones. Don't ask us for free music. Powerful, like, right? That's executive, like, that's proof. Tim Cook read it, said, she's right. We'll pay all the royalties for the next 3 months, and we will still make it free to the end user. That's power. Then she wanted to buy her albums back. They wouldn't sell them to her. They actually sold her entire record deals, 6 albums, out from underneath her. Wouldn't even give her the right to buy them back. Fortunately, she had a tiny little clause in her contract that said she always had the right to re-record it. So she started re-recording 6 albums. That's like us going back to high school and redoing it even though we already graduated. Well, some of us did, but I'm sure you guys did. But so the issue in this is she had to go back and do the work twice. So when the other company found out that she was doing this, they released the greatest hits. Once again, they owned the right. They didn't have to ask for permission. So she made a simple post to her fans, say, hey guys, I'm re-recording these albums for you. This is going to be called Taylor's version. I would just kindly ask that you do not buy the greatest hits album. Guess how many got sold? Now, she sells 1 million albums a week. 33. Not 33 million. 33 people did get the notice not to buy that album. And they went out and bought the album. Totally tanked it. That's that executive inside again. Control, winning, proof. She understood the game. She showed up accordingly. Her movie that she was, her Eras tour, she decided to make a movie. She shopped into every single studio. They all said, nope, 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 we're not interested. Yeah, you have the highest grossing concert right now, but we're not interested in your movie. So the executive, again, could have said, you know what, they don't want it, I'll quit. But the executive is motivated by winning, control, so she took control. She went directly to AMC movie theaters and said, you know what, let's bypass Hollywood. We've already filmed it. We have all the footage. We've already edited it. Will you just show it for us? They're like, absolutely. Let's do a 50-50 cut. She pre-sold $100 million worth. We're not talking tickets. We're talking movie tickets, not concert tickets. Could you imagine selling $100 million before the movie's released? Went on to sell $250 million. And last month, Disney paid $75 million for the streaming rights. So $325 million. She went on and has the highest grossing concert of all time where literally government officials are calling her team, begging her to come to their country and their town. It's grossed over $5 billion. That's an industry by itself. The only way she could have done it was tapping into her drive internally. That is the only way. So when you look at your drive, you have your primary and secondary. Another way to think about it is your primary drive is your car. That's the direction you're heading in your life. So I'm what's called the director executive. So I'm driven by lifestyle, freedom, creativity. How I do it, that's the gas. That's how you push yourself to where you want to go. That's your secondary drive. So the car and the fuel, primary and secondary. The other 3 drives, you have them. They fluctuate and they move around based off the information, based off the circumstance, based off the situation you're in. But your primary and secondary are everything on how do you get internal. So let me give you the 3 R's of recovery, how you can change any situation, anytime. First one is reassess. Identify your primary drive, what part's being offended. Meaning, you get that text, that phone call, that email. Something happens, you get hurt, you're frustrated. Look at your primary drive. What is it about that moment that's being offended? So looking at your drive, think right now, and for fun, actually role play this. Think of a time recently, I won't ask you to say it out loud, but think of it, where you really felt tired, frustrated, and exhausted. Now look at your primary drive and look at the keywords on there and see which keywords were being offended in that moment. Here's also a fun exercise. I will ask you to raise your hand on this one. When you look at those keywords, how many have 5 or more being offended in that moment? Like when you're thinking about when you're frustrated, tired, and exhausted, 5, 6, or 7 of those keywords are being annihilated, right? Okay, so step 2, realign that drive. You've got to get that drive met for you, by you. So you go to your secondary drive and you learn how, and I'll show you in a second, how to take your secondary drive to fuel your primary drive. So you're never stranded on the side of the road emotionally, mentally, figuratively speaking, but that you always have that power and energy to keep going. And then number 3 is re-engage. So often in life, we react. We don't like something, we fight it, we react to it. Pause, breathe. There's a great acronym, HALT, H-A-L-T. If you're hungry, angry, lonely, or tired, HALT. Because now you're being external. You're hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. But now, then, reassess, realign, re-engage. Get your drive met for you, by you. Fuel that secondary drive, and you feel liberated. You feel on top of the world. You feel like there's nothing that you can't do. So here's a shortcut. Here's how you do it. You can take screenshots of these if you want. On your secondary drive. So who has director as secondary? Not primary, secondary. Okay, beautiful. Do something that makes you feel free and independent. Pursue your life's purpose. Experience and create something new. When you're feeling that frustration, that exhaustion, whatever your primary drive is, when your secondary is director, go out and play, have fun, create. You will have the energy to tackle the problem in front of you. Where's my relators on secondary drive? It's like, beautiful, okay. So once again, treat yourself. Give you the very thing you're wanting other people to give to you. Reach out to your community, give service, forgive yourself and anyone else who's caused you pain. And there's a plethora of things you can do. There's an unlimited amount of things you can do on your secondary drive. These are just short 3 ideas. Where's my intellectuals on secondary drive? Yep. Seek advice from others. Now, interestingly enough, that's an external experience, but the reason I put that in here is you have to be very internal to ask for help, to seek advice. And when your intellectual is your secondary drive, look for that missing information. Organize based on your priorities, break things down to small, obtainable chunks, and it's so much easier to do. Where's my validators on secondary drive? Beautiful. List your strengths. Seek advice from a trusted source. Reflect on the positive impact you've already had on others. I had a phone call with a client today. Exact same drive. She could not recognize anything she'd already done well in her life. She's an extremely successful individual. She could not even say them out loud. I said, okay, that's your homework then. List 10 things you do well every single day until you can't think of 10. And reread them every morning and every night. That will fuel your primary drive. Where's my executives on secondary drives? All right. Reach out and gather proof. Because that secondary drive wants the proof. Set small, obtainable goals. Let go of what you cannot control. As you do these activities, you become liberated quickly, freely. You feel optimistic. You feel like you can take on the world. And that's why